Welcome back to Secure 7. In today's video, we're exploring another critical OWASP Top 10 vulnerability, sensitive data exposure. Every day, organizations handle personal data like passwords, financial information, and health records. But what happens when this data is not properly protected? It becomes a goldmine for attackers. In this session, we'll break down what sensitive data exposure is, real-world examples, how attackers exploit it, and how you can prevent it. And as always, this video is for educational and ethical hacking purposes only. What is sensitive data exposure? Sensitive data exposure occurs when an application unintentionally reveals sensitive information to unauthorized parties. This usually happens because of poor or missing encryption, weak security practices, or misconfigurations. Imagine you're logging into a website that doesn't use HTTPS. Your username and password travel over the network in plain text. If someone intercepts that traffic using a tool like Wireshark, they can see your credentials instantly. That's sensitive data exposure, and it's surprisingly common. Why it's dangerous. Why should you care? Because exposed sensitive data leads to account takeovers, identity theft, credit card fraud, large-scale data breaches that damage brand trust and cost millions. In fact, many breaches you've heard of in the news started with this simple issue. Real-world examples. Let's look at some examples. In 2013, Yahoo suffered a breach that exposed over 3 billion user accounts. Weak hashing and poor security practices contributed to this. In 2017, Equifax leaked personal information of 147 million people due to an unpatched web server and unencrypted sensitive data. These cases prove that even big companies are vulnerable when proper data protection isn't enforced. Demo concept: how exposure happens. Now let's walk through a simplified demo concept. Picture a login page using plain HTTP. A user enters credentials. An attacker on the same network runs a packet sniffer like Wireshark. Because there's no encryption, the attacker sees the username and password in clear text. Alternatively, imagine a database storing credit card numbers without encryption. If an attacker gains read access through an injection vulnerability, they get all the data in plain text. This is why encryption at rest and in transit is critical. Types of sensitive data. What qualifies as sensitive data? Here are some examples. Personally identifiable information, PII, names, SSN, addresses. Financial data, credit card numbers, banking info, authentication data, passwords, session tokens, API keys. Health records, medical history, prescriptions. If attackers get this data, they can commit fraud or sell it on the dark web. How attackers exploit it. Sensitive data exposure can happen in many ways. Applications using outdated or weak encryption like MD5 or SHA-1, not forcing HTTPS, allowing man-in-the-middle attacks, leaving cloud storage buckets publicly accessible, improper access control where anyone can download backups or logs. Attackers actively scan for such weaknesses. Automated tools make it easy to find unprotected data sources. How to prevent sensitive data exposure. Now let's talk prevention. Protecting data requires several layers of defense. 1. Use HTTPS everywhere. Install a valid TLS certificate and enforce secure connections. 2. Encrypt sensitive data at rest and in transit. Use strong, up-to-date algorithms like AES 256 for storage and TLS 1.3 for transmission. 3. Avoid storing unnecessary data. If you don't need it, don't keep it. 4. Secure encryption keys. Store keys in a secure vault, not in your source code. 5. Regularly rotate and update keys and certificates. 6. Implement proper access control. Ensure only authorized people can access sensitive data. 7. Scan and monitor for exposure. Use tools to detect misconfigurations and leaks early. Following these best practices drastically reduces your risk. To summarize, sensitive data exposure happens when organizations fail to protect critical data properly. Attackers exploit this to steal identities, commit fraud, or sell data. The good news, with proper encryption, secure configurations, and data hygiene, you can prevent most of these risks. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to Secure 7 for more ethical hacking tutorials and OWASP Top 10 breakdowns. And remember, knowledge is power, but only when used ethically.